All right, let's dive in. Today, we're headed to a place that's, well, kind of hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah, I mean, highest permanent settlement on Earth. It's got to be pretty extreme.
That's La Rinconada, Peru. And
Yeah.
we're going to get a glimpse of what it's actually like to live there.
Through the eyes of a documentary filmmaker. Right.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And he captured everything, the beauty of the Andes, but also the the harsh reality of, just existing in a place like that.
Yeah, that contrast really struck me. You've got these breathtaking mountains, and then you've got, well, basically a sprawling slum.
It's wild, right? And just getting there is an adventure in itself.
Oh, tell me about it. The filmmaker starts in Juliaca, which is already at a crazy altitude.
And then he takes this 3-hour minibus ride up these winding mountain roads.
Just getting there is enough to make you gasp for air, literally.
I can't even imagine. I get winded going up a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
So we're talking 5,000 meters, right?
Yeah, 5,000 meters. The oxygen is, well, it's scarce. Even basic things become a struggle.
The filmmaker was relying on coca-leaves and aspirin just to function. And that's before he even gets to Rinconada.
It's a testament to human resilience, that people can not only survive, but build a whole community in a place like that.
Well, about that community, it's a gold rush town, right? But not your typical gold rush.
Yeah, forget panning for gold in a stream. This is a whole different ball game.
It's informal mining. A lot of it illegal, happening right there in the city itself.
People digging through mine waste, hoping to strike it rich.
And over 50,000 people living there, crammed into this makeshift city. It's chaotic.
It's almost like a visual metaphor, this
Yeah.
stunning landscape and then this harsh, almost desperate reality.
It's a powerful image. And the documentary doesn't shy away from the human cost.
No, it's raw. You see the exhaustion, the constant threat of mercury poisoning. It's tough to watch.
Yeah, there's this one scene the filmmaker meets this miner. He's clearly struggling. His clothes are soaked. He's drinking to cope.
It's heartbreaking, but it also kind of speaks to the way people adapt, to the coping mechanisms they develop.
And that brings us to, well, I guess you could call it a cultural quirk, but it's pretty unsettling.
The code of vice.
Yeah, this belief that spending your earnings on vices like alcohol, tobacco, even prostitution will appease the mountain spirits.
It's like a twisted bargain with the mountain. Gives you gold. You indulge in these, well, self-destructive behaviors.
I mean, what's the psychology behind that? It's fascinating and a little disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, it's complex. Maybe it's a way to rationalize dangerous behavior, or maybe it's just a need for escape.
Escape from that harsh reality.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how these beliefs develop in such an extreme environment.
Right. It's a desperation, a need for control, or something deeper, a way to make sense of a world that just feels chaotic.
It's a question the documentary raises but doesn't really answer, and that's what makes it so thought-provoking.
Absolutely. It sticks with you, Leaves you wrestling with these ethical questions long after the film's over.
And it's not just the miners, right? This code of vice seems to impact the whole community.
Yeah, there's this one scene, it's tough to watch, but the filmmaker witnesses underage girls involved in prostitution.
It's a harsh reminder of the vulnerability and exploitation that exists in a place like this.
And beyond that, there's this palpable sense of fear, this mistrust.
The filmmaker talks about how people are reluctant to be filmed, they're wary of outsiders.
He even gets warned about, the potential for violence, the danger.
Yeah, one guy tells him straight up, you linger in the wrong spot, you could get shot. It's like the Wild West up there.
Definitely a sense of lawlessness, which makes me wonder, what's the role of the police in a place like that?
Yeah, how do they even begin to maintain order?
It's a good question. And the documentary actually, it gives us some insight into that. The filmmaker gets to talk to some of the officers.
Well, that's got to be interesting. What do they have to say?
It's less about enforcing the law, I think, and more about, keeping a lid on things.
So containing the chaos, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you're dealing with people driven by sheer necessity. Survival comes first. The law comes, well, somewhere later.
Makes sense, in a way.
Yeah.
But it still sounds like a tough job.
Yeah.
So what do the officers say about their day-to-day?
They basically said it's a place where everyone's armed, for protection, for crime, for who knows what.
Sounds tense.
Yeah, it's a constant struggle. And with that code of vice thing, it's like they're pouring gasoline on the fire.
Right. Encouraging people to spend their money on alcohol and stuff. not exactly helping things.
And it's not just the social impact, right? The documentary also really highlights the environmental damage.
Yeah, those images of garbage everywhere, the polluted water, it's pretty shocking.
The mercury used in the gold processing, that's the real silent killer. It gets into the water, the soil, even the people.
I remember this one scene. There are like dogs picking through the trash for food. It's just sad.
It kind of symbolizes the whole thing, the damage, the cost of chasing this gold.
It makes you think, is it all worth it? I mean, not just for the people there, but for the planet.
It's a question we all have to ask ourselves, right? Because
Okay.
that gold, it ends up in our phones, our jewelry, everywhere.
This documentary definitely makes you confront that uncomfortable reality.
It's like it's holding up a mirror to us, Are we part of the problem?
It's a lot to process, but even amidst all the darkness, there are these glimmers of hope.
Oh, absolutely. The resilience of the people there, it's incredible. They're facing like impossible odds, but they don't give up.
The filmmaker captures that so well. There's this miner he talks to, he dreams of providing for his family, despite everything.
It's inspiring, right? Like even in the worst circumstances, the human spirit finds a way.
Makes you wonder, what can we learn from them, from their resilience, their resourcefulness?
I think I think it starts with recognizing that we're all connected. Our choices, even the small ones, they have an impact.
Yeah, we're not just watching this unfold, we're part of it.
Exactly. And with that comes a sense of responsibility.
So what does that look like practically? I mean, how can we make a difference when the problem seems so big?
Well, for starters, we need to know where our stuff comes from, the real cost of what we buy. And then we can support the companies doing things right.
Yeah, it's almost like taking back some of that control. We're not just helpless.
Exactly. We can make choices, support businesses that are doing it right, and speak up, get the word out.
This documentary definitely got me thinking, got me talking about these things more. It's one thing to read an article, it's another to see it, to hear the stories.
Yeah, you connect with it on a different level. You feel that empathy, and that can push you to actually do something.
So where do we go from here? What's the takeaway for our listeners after this deep dive into La Rinconada?
I think it's a call to action, honestly. It's a reminder that what we do, what we choose, it matters, and we all have a part to play in making things better.
It's easy to get overwhelmed. Poverty, exploitation, the environment. It's a lot.
It is, but this film shows us that change, it starts with each of us.
Those small choices like fair trade coffee or checking out a company's practices before you buy something, they add up.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of just talking about it, sharing this with your friends, your family. That's how we raise awareness.
I'm still thinking about the people we met in Rinconada, all those hardships, but they still have hope. That's pretty amazing.
It is. It reminds us that even when things are really tough, the human spirit, it can find a way.
We adapt, we innovate, we keep going.
Exactly. And that's something to remember no matter what challenges we're facing.
This deep dive, it's left me with a lot of, well, mixed emotions.
Mhm.
Sadness, anger,
Mm.
but also hope.
It's a powerful reminder that we're all in this together, and that we can actually make a difference.
La Rinconada, it might be a world away, but the lessons we can take from it, they apply to all of us, to our everyday lives.
Absolutely. So as you go about your day, think about that gold ring you're wearing or your phone, your clothes.
Remember the people we met in Rinconada. Remember their stories, their strength.
Let it inspire you to make good choices, to use your voice, to demand better for yourself, for others, for the planet.
Because building a better world, a fairer world, it takes all of us.
It starts with each of us taking responsibility, making those choices, and working together.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into La Rinconada.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, keep asking those questions, keep learning, and keep pushing for a better future.